Tomorrow, California leaders and Republicans will try to make their case in court as to whether the state should keep its new congressional district maps. California voters approved those maps last month to give Democrats even more of an advantage in future elections. This all comes as the United States Supreme Court allows Texas to keep its new maps that favor Republicans. Earlier this week, I spoke with Republican Assemblymember David Tanguipa, who is part of the group who sued the state because of the new maps. Here's our conversation. Assemblymember Tanguipa, welcome back to the show.
It is always great to join you.
So what prompted you to want to file this lawsuit and be a part of it against Proposition 50?
Well, really, what we saw through the legislative process when they put this on the ballot was in 4 days, we were able to move mountains for something that I believe nobody was ever asking for here in the state of California, realistically. And when you're moving and jamming through the process as fast as they did, they're going to make mistakes. And I had actually warned them that if they were doing this and they were doing so as sloppily as they were, they're going to have to face potential challenges. And we believe that they have violated the Constitution. They used race as a justifiable means for what they really wanted, and that was a political gerrymander. But there are very strict guidelines that if you are going to use race as a justification for why you decided to redistrict, you have to follow the Voter Rights Act. You have to make sure that you're taking into account all of the necessary problems and remedies and why it's necessary to even race-based redistrict in the first place. And we don't believe that they did any of that. I know they didn't do a lot of that because even in the legislation itself, there's a portion where it says the Assembly and the Senate Elections Committee prepared these maps. Well, that is a lie. Because we know, as Paul Mitchell had stated himself, as you had him on your show, he said that he drew the maps. So if they were going to lie both on who prepared the maps, if they lied on the fiscal impact that was given out to the voters, we were going to make sure that we bring accountability back to California.
And just to take a step back here, as you just mentioned, your lawsuit alleges California leaders violated the Voting Rights Act by giving Latinos specifically an advantage over other racial groups in those new maps. But the lawsuit against Texas's maps also alleged Voting Rights Act violations, but for suppressing the vote of some racial groups. How confident are you with the Supreme Court allowing Texas to keep its maps and justices noting that states, including California, are basically just trying to give their dominant political party the upper hand here? How confident are you that this lawsuit really goes anywhere?
Well, so this lawsuit is actually a lot closer to the lawsuit that Texas faced in 2021 and that Louisiana had faced in 2021 as well, talking about how these districts really do suppress other minority groups. And that's exactly what we're saying, is if the state of California and the people who drew the maps decided to use the Voter Rights Act to justify how they drew these districts, they need to make sure that they have all of the justifiable reasons. We do not believe they had that. If you look at the state of California, we have a Latino and a Hispanic larger population. They are actually the largest ethnic group in the state of California. And yet when Paul Mitchell put out these maps, he said the first thing he did was draw more racially drawn Latino districts. Well, if Latinos do make up the majority or the plurality in this state, then why do they need more VRA-style districts? And does that constitute a barrier to other minority groups? We believe it does. But not only that, if you look at the Jingles case and the standard that was created under Jingles in 1986, there has to be a ethnic barrier too that justifies the reason why you race-based redistrict. Well, and this is a big reason why I decided to bring this lawsuit, is I represent one of the widest districts here in the state of California. I am Polynesian. I am the first Polynesian ever elected to the state legislature here in California. So it proves that even in white majority districts here, there is not an ethnic barrier for drawing VRA districts. So when Paul Mitchell and the other groups in the legislature got together, said that they were going to use race to justify their gerrymandering, Well, therefore, they violated the Constitution. So again, Texas's maps are significantly different, especially the new ones from 2025, because Texas never came out and said that we were drawing VRA districts. Texas came out entirely and said that we are drawing political districts. That is fundamentally different than what the words that came out of the people who supported Prop 50.
My full conversation with Fresno Assemblymember David Tanguipa is on calpolitics360.com. I invited the map drawer that the assemblyman mentioned, Paul Mitchell, to join the show. He declined citing the court case. The hearing is scheduled to begin tomorrow morning in Los Angeles.